It's time. We've been talking for about, this is probably going on week 3, and it's only gotten more interesting. And now we get the best part about this is that, Alex, you're back. You're joining us with the Deebo Samuel talk. First off, just general feelings. I just want to, it's time for a little bit of therapy, possibly. Just speak your heart, speak your soul, and I'm here for you, man.
Yeah, so I think the best way to do this is to just take you through the last, I would say the last 6 months as a Niner. You go through the first couple of weeks, you go through all the offseason, the talk is it going to be Jimmy G? Is it going to be Trey Lance? Is it going to be Mac Jones? Are we trading for this, trading for that? No, nothing really focused on Deebo Samuel or the George Kittles or the world. It was all quarterbacks in the offseason. So season starts, and then you have this explosion of Deebo Samuel towards the end of the year, the back half of the year, right when the Niners were starting to get some momentum. They had injuries up through the first half of the year, but right at the back half of the year, right when they're starting to gel, starting to get healthy, Jimmy G comes back healthy. Deebo Samuel is now taking handoffs and taking pitches and is kind of I don't know if you remember how the Saints used Alvin Kamara his rookie year, but it seemed like single week he would have 7 carries for 70 yards and a touchdown and 6 catches for 85 yards and a touchdown. Like he just
pretty balanced.
Just was always very efficient. It would always break chunk runs, and that's what we saw that Deebo was doing. And we started to slowly shift, him taking more and more snaps in the backfield, and just this absolute enigma of a player that really kind of embodied what the San Francisco Niners playoff run and that team was. I mean, the videos of him coming out to Super Gremlin and just absolutely going like that playoff run was fueled by Deebo Samuel. And I mean, my fandom of Deebo Samuel just exploded throughout that last 5 months or 5 weeks of the year. And then you go into the offseason, you have Devontae Adams gets a bag. Tyreek Hill gets a bag. Christian Kirk gets 4 for 84, whatever dumb number he got. And then you start to slowly do the calculus of,
Kirk. We're going to shit on the Jags, I'm sure, a little bit later. But, oh, wow, did they ruin the wide receiver market for everyone?
Yeah, completely everyone. And so you start to hear talk about the A.J. Browns and DK Metcalfs wanting new contracts. And then Deebo Samuel, of course, is in that same draft class. And then Terry McLaurin comes out. And you just start to do the calculus in your head of like, shoot, what's going to happen when we need to pay Deebo Samuel big money, when Nick Bosa is inevitably going to get big money. We already paid Fred. We already paid Trent Williams. All these guys have just big numbers. And are we even going to be able to give Deebo Samuel, a $25 million contract a year? And to me, frankly, I think the answer is no. And I wouldn't give Deebo Samuel that money either. And so really the overall feel right now around Deebo is I love him. I think he's an incredible Niner. I think the Niners are in win now mode because we have that young quarterback on the low contract, and I think we can build a team around him. But I'm torn between, I don't think it's smart to pay any receiver over $20 million a year. I mean, especially with how many guys coming out of the draft are having immediate impacts throughout, not just round, but like all throughout you have undrafted free agents making, big time impacts on the teams. And I mean,
you do.
Hunter Renfrow was undrafted, and now he is a big time impact player for the Raiders. And so I just don't think the math has changed so much where, just like the quarterback market, it's not smart anymore to pay your average quarterback $30 to $32 million a year, because your difference between just drafting a quarterback in the first round or the second round and utilizing that cheap contract is much bigger. And so, you look at guys like Treylon Burks in the draft, and he reminds me a ton of Deebo Samuel. So kind of like how the Vikings traded Stephon Diggs and immediately replaced him with Justin Jefferson. They kind of did that calculus of, are we going to pay Stephon Diggs this big time money contract, or should we just go out and roll the dice with a rookie receiver and try to see if we can get similar production? And it worked out incredible for them, obviously, but I'm almost, more inclined to roll the dice on that part if Deebo Samuel is truly asking for a $25 million a year contract. I don't think he's worth that much. If he was coming around the neighborhood of, it sucks because it would be the Christian Kirk contract. If he was in there for $20 to $21 million a year, I think that would make sense. But you obviously cannot do that with Christian Kirk getting that much money.
No,
Ridiculous. So
no.
yeah, I mean, if they're going to be out there and if they're going to be able to ship him and shop him for 2 first-round picks, I say you do it, no doubt. If it's
that's what they're looking at. I mean, I kind of said that honestly. 2 first-round picks. It's the least for the Niners at this one. I even said that before. Like Deebo Samuel requested his trade. I was just talking about people were saying that the Niners should take a look and just take a look and possibly shop him around. And I would say 2 first rounds. I'm still steadfast on that one. But it does get a little bit interesting because if you take a look at the Niners, they're saying that they're going to keep him. Unless, probably someone gives them at least those 2 first rounds. The Jets are in talks about giving the Niners their 10th overall at least this year. And you're going to have to do more than just that 10th. Let's be honest here. And then also you got the fact that he only has 1 year left on his contract. He's going asking for big money no matter who he's with. So if you're the Niners, you cannot turn down 2 first-round picks for this guy.
No.
Right?
100%.
Right, you have to take that.
No, I mean,
Would you take any less?
Yeah, I would.
What's the cheapest Deebo Samuel goes for?
I think it would be
first and third.
Well, here's the issue too with the Niners is that the Niners are not in, and this was kind of the same thing with the Chiefs is, and I guess really the same thing with the Packers is all these teams that are trading these receivers that are about to get big money are not in rebuilding phase. They're all in win now mode. So it's it's not one of those situations where we're interested in a 2023 first, 2024 first. No, it's got to be immediate impact guys now. And so, if you're trading with someone like the Jets, if you bring back something like I think the 10th is where you start. You add on, I think they have a couple early first-round picks or second-round picks. It's got to be one of those as well. And then you throw in like a 4th and a 6th or something like that. But I think it's got to be at least 1 first and 1 really high second, and it's got to be this year. Because anything in the future just does not help, especially with this window.
So the second one also has to be from this year, you said?
Yeah, it's got to be.
Okay.
Especially with, we have this window of you would be trading Deebo Samuel because you don't want to pay him. And because you don't want to pay him, is because you have this rookie quarterback right now, and you have this window where you can pay everyone else and bring in all these good free agents. And if you're going to then, what you're bringing back from trading Deebo is years in the future, you're now obviously relinquishing that time of having a cheap quarterback on a first-round contract. So I think it's got to be players with immediate impact. I honestly wouldn't even mind if it was impact players that are active NFL players, not even draft picks. So it's got to be a win now move and I don't want to pay a receiver $25 million move. If it is totally a punt for the future, I would be very, very upset at that.
All right, fair enough. This is such a bit of a dilemma too, because obviously it's never a good thing to lose this kind of talent from your team. Which I think the dream scenario is that the Niners just pay Deebo Samuel. Of course, that's a dream scenario for either side, but it's hard to afford that because they just picked up Nick Bosa's extension. And you're going to have to give that guy quite a chunk of money next year. So there's no way that you sign 2 players like Deebo and Nick Bosa in the Niners situation right now to be able to sign both of them to long-term contracts that they deserve financially. Damn near impossible to stay under the cap. But also the thing is about the cap, it's fake, it's not real, it's a conspiracy perpetuated by Big Goodell to be able to show and try to have the perception that the league is fair and we don't just get a team like the Yankees or the Dodgers in the NFL. There's my rant. Every time we talk about salary cap, I have to throw that in there, Alex, because it's true, man. That's my favorite conspiracy theory in sports, and I'm gonna ride with it till the end.
I mean, that would be the only reason to explain how the Rams don't ever have salary cap issues whenever they're up against cap hell, as everyone calls it.
Mm-hmm.
But they're
Or you see a team over the cap and then, oh, we've restructured 20 of these guys' contracts and now we're fine.
Yeah, it seems like every team could just restructure a contract into a signing bonus before the year, and it just turns into free money. Like, why wouldn't
Yeah.
that?
So the NFL is easy as long as you have some great lawyers to write the contract. Is that one here?
It needs a cap guy. Everyone's just got to say, you got a numbers guy. And if you have a numbers guy, you have a cap expert. That's
yeah.
And if you're a team that doesn't have a cap expert, go find yourself a cap expert.
Go get yourself a cap expert, man. It's easy, apparently. I don't understand how it works, but apparently it does. So it's just boom, boom, restructure, you're fine.
Well, here's the thing, Ross. I want to hear your take on it. What would be your price if you were the Niners? What are you asking for? Is it a situation where you have to be blown out of the water to trade him, or are you on the front end, you're like, no, everyone loves Deebo, we got to keep him, but on the down low, you're like, this is actually a really good time to trade Deebo. We should trade him.
I think I pulled the trigger on Deebo right now. I think you got to send him away. The Niners still have some good young talent, especially receiver Brendan Ayuk. That man is on a...
And Jawan Jennings really came on the last half of the year. Jawan Jennings is a big slot receiver. Like, here's the thing. Call me crazy, but if you went out to the last couple weeks of the year, Deebo Samuel really did not play receiver very often, maybe 40% of the snaps. And you had Jawan Jennings out there. You had Brandon Ayuk out there. You have George Kittle. You have 3 solidified receiving options, and Elijah Mitchell is a problem back there. And if you go your normal 11 personnel, you have Jawan Jennings, Ayuk on the field, and you have George Kittle playing tight end and Juszczyk and Mitchell. That's a starting lineup right there.
Absolutely, it is.
Not discounting Deebo Samuel whatsoever.
Honestly, you could just start Juszczyk and probably win most football games.
If you just started Juszczyk and Joe Thomas, I think
he's a hero.
Ross always wins. I mean,
yes. All right, I'll Niners specific, Juszczyk and Williams. That's all you need on that team. Yeah. Or if you really want to, I guess a slight throwback. I always loved my man Joe Staley.
Could
never get enough of
that. Was one of the we used this Central Michigan Chippewa, I believe. The Mac.
Ooh,
incredible talent. And
no, I love him. I miss him.
Yeah, I do too. It's
trash.
If you had Trent Williams, Joe Staley, Justin Smith, Patrick Willis, and Kyle Juszczyk as your starting 5 in an NBA game, I don't think you lose many games.
I don't think any team survives against that.
I think they're just going to maul you to death.
That just sounds like death to me. Wow.
Can you imagine that team at like a 24-hour fitness or like a CalFit trying to play a pickup game? Like, bodies just be flying around setting screens.
That would be a blood. Give me those 5. Have you seen that basketball league where it's on trampolines and full contact?
Slam ball.
Slam ball, yes.
Slam ball.
Give me them in slam ball.
Is there an opening for us? Do you think there's an audience to do slam ball content? Like
Bro, I don't even think I've only ever seen slam ball in like
highlights,
kind of pixelated like highlights. So I'm not sure if it's even a thing anymore. If I'm being honest, man.
Oh, it's out there.
Is it still a thing?
100%. Hold on.
Are we going to have to field a team? Are we going to have to get a slam ball team? 4th and long slam ball.
The funniest thing, the first thing that pops up when you Google slam ball is slam ball still a thing?
See, I'm not alone on this. It's a real concern.
Oh gosh. Okay, so traditional slam ball is not around anymore, but there may be a couple. Maybe there may be a couple alternate leagues. Okay, getting back on track. Where were
we?
Your price that you would accept for Deebo?
Bottom line for Deebo is 1st and a 3rd, bottom
But
line.
even if it's not a first and a second this year, you'd still pull the trigger just because you think it's a good chance, good opportunity.
I think so.
I,
I think so.
the problem is I'm kind of with you, but I hate that I'm there.
No, like I don't feel comfortable saying Deebo Samuel is only. Deebo Samuel is as a player is not only worth at first and a third, but given the situation that the Niners are in, they should accept that. They don't need him, but also I love Deebo as a two-position player, but he's made very, very clear that he is not a two-position player, which I think is kind of. I understand it, the money thing, the injury thing, but I think if you're literally the most dynamic player in the league, you should just roll with that because it's very hard to be named the most dynamic or the most versatile player in the league. That's exactly what Deebo Samuel is. That's why I had him in MVP conversations. Was he ever going to win it? No, but should he be up there? Yeah, probably. Could be fun. First and third, ideally, a first this year and the first next year.
Yeah. Does your thought process change at all with the fact that it's going to be Trey Lance's first year under center?
That's why I would love if that's why perfect situation you keep Deebo because he would be fantastic for a young quarterback, but I just don't think that's the case. The Niners want to keep him, but we also have that video clip of Deebo in the club next to that one sign saying that he's going to stay with the Niners.
I know.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Well,
here's the one thing that would get me going is if we traded Deebo to the Jets, got 10, one of those early seconds, and then a variety of other things, and then with
Corey Davis in the first.
I was Davis, but it would be so dumb to take on his money.
Yeah.
If we drafted Jameson Williams at number 10 and Trey Lance could just uncork 80-yard footballs just to Jameson Williams streaking down the field, that would get me so fully torqued. I don't know. I think it might be okay. I think if I had a guarantee,
I think that's good.
Jameson Williams at 10, I'd be down.
I think that'd be great. I am right there with you, Alex.
Or what we do?
Oh, okay.
Or what we do is still that Jets package, and with the first we go whatever. I think we really, really need a corner. I think if we could find a way to get a Sauce Gardner or a Derek Stingley at number 10, and then at 33 or whatever one of those top early second round picks have would be, if we could reunite Trey Lance with his college teammate Christian Watson, I think that would be a perfect combo opposite Brandon Ayuk. And if you put Stingley on the outside, take care of one of those big issues that we had in the back end last year.
You still have Kittle.
Still have Fred Warner, still have Trent Williams, Trey Lance. Alleviate that first year jitters with Deebo Samuel. It's obviously you'd love to have a good safety net there, but what better safety net to have than one of your college teammates from North Dakota State? I mean, how often does that chance ever happen with a small school like that? So I think I would be okay with that.
I honestly think with everything, all things considered, the 49ers are in a good spot.
Agreed.
Even with all this drama, they're in a good spot. And I as a Niner fan, I wouldn't be super worried.
And I think that's why they're okay with waiting this out a little bit is Deebo's value is not going to go anywhere. And as the longer it takes for them to go back and forth, I think Deebo's price comes down. For as far as his asking price, I think his trade value is not going anywhere. He's just set in stone. He is a very, very good player, and you can insert him into a lot of different offenses. But as this negotiation period goes longer, I think his asking price comes down.
I think so. But the Niners, as of now, when does Deebo? And so we're just going to assume Deebo Samuel gets traded. Alex, does he get traded night one? Before night one?
I think it's honestly during night one because it's got
during night one.
I think it's one of those like you're 30 minutes before the draft, everyone's doing their prep, and all of a sudden bomb drops, Deebo's traded, and it's not. I don't think it's going to be one of those Jets are on the clock at 10 and then they get traded and Deebo Samuel gets traded. I don't. It's got to be something more drawn out.
Dude, imagine if the Jets draft Williams and then trade him for Deebo in next year's and then a second.
The problem is, I think the most important position right now for the Niners to address is corner. And if we had a top 15 pick this year, it would be asinine for us to not draft a corner.
Fair enough. I think the Niners are going to be fine next year, though.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a bump of the road. They're still a playoff team with or without Deebo.
Well, I think you made a very key point, is that the Niners are still operating in a position of power, and if it goes either way, it's not horrible one way or the other. I think
exactly.
Yeah.
I think they're good. So let us know, Niner fans. Are you guys in a good spot? Are you in a good headspace? Let us know. I'm here for you. Because I know stuff like this could be horrible. Just talk to me, because the Broncos traded away Von Miller last season, 2 weeks after I bought his jersey.